Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us on our first episode on our podcast, Two Puerto Ricans and a Black Girl. Today's topic of discussion, complacency in all areas of life. But before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. I am the Dope Widow.
And I am the Love Guru.
And I am the Lifestyle Diva. And today, I want to get started on complacency and read to you a couple of definitions on what complacency means. So I found this, and it says it's a feeling of satisfaction with oneself, with a situation. You don't feel that anything is necessary to change. So for me, when we were discussing this topic, I was thinking about complacency in my life as far as being afraid of making change. Like, because when you need to make change, that means you need to change things that are in your life. And sometimes you're just so comfortable with that lifestyle that you created for yourself. You feel like if you go off into another area, what is it going to be? How you going to feel? How you going to maneuver around? So, sometimes I didn't make changes in my life because I felt like I didn't want to see what the other side of, the change was going to be. So how do you ladies feel about, what?
I can say that I can totally relate to what you're saying because I call myself a creature of habit because I am so afraid of change. So I become complacent in specific situations, whether it be work, whether it be my love life, whether it be my religious life. I've become complacent. Like there was a time that I was complacent with where I was spiritually. I thought that walk was, I was where I was supposed to be with God. And through certain situations, I've learned that no, there's more to my relationship with God. Every day things change, every day things differ, and I have to be open to the change, and I have to be open to the differences that are going on in my life. So I could totally relate to, you saying that you've become complacent in certain areas because I am definitely a creature of habit. Change is very uncomfortable for me.
Right.
And also with the complacency, a lot of people are complacent because of fear. So you mentioned about a creature of habit and being afraid of not changing, of change. You don't know what change can bring, right? I think the both of you mentioned that. But that's like a fear. You're moving in a spirit of fear. Well, you can't move in a spirit of fear, right? Because you mentioned walking in your faith. If we know who God is, right? And if he tells us move, we just got to move, right? But we're so afraid of that because like both of you mentioned, we don't know what's on the other side.
Absolutely.
Right? And so why not stay comfortable? But when we don't move, and then when fear stops us, we never really get to live out our full potential. We never get to live out the blessings that God has for us. We never, we talk about, God, I wish I had this job. I wish I was this. How many times have God called us to do different things in our lives?
Right. And because of fear, we don't move.
We don't move.
And let me, I'm guilty. I'm guilty 100% of, of not moving when I'm told to move or, not changing jobs when I know that I'm supposed to be better. I'm supposed to be doing something different. But because I'm so comfortable, and I'm scared of what is on the other side, like Michelle said, I just stay in that spot, because again, of comfortability.
Yeah.
And sometimes with me, I know too, what complacent, it's a lot of times it was in relationship with me too, because I'm not a big person on a lot of dating. So if I'm seeing someone, I'll try to stick it out even when I see that the signs of it's time for me, I should probably be leaving this relationship now. I'm gonna try to work through this and see if it can fix itself, and God will let you stay there, and try to figure it out for yourself. But in the long run, you're just wasting time. Time is so precious. It's just ticking going by. Before you look up, years have gone by, and you're still there somewhere where
That's not what you
sure,
belong.
you're not going to be, you're not supposed to be, but because, you want to give people allowances and you want to look over things and think things are going to change. And it's just like,
You give them the benefit of a doubt.
yeah. You start procrastinating, procrastinating, complacency, all of them, they cousins, they family. So all that, you know what I'm saying? It all goes together. So, yeah.
It does. And also it goes right back to the whole fear thing. Women are afraid to be by themselves, right? And so you find some person and you decide to kind of stick with them, and you see all the things that are wrong. You got to squint to see all the things that are right. And that's what you stay with. You got to really try to figure out, okay, this might work for me. Because you'd rather be with someone and have that sense of security than to be
alone
by yourself.
And thank you, Jesus, for releasing me. That's not me no more.
Not a women.
Not me no more. It's not me no more.
Hello. They look back and it's 20 years later and you're still with the same person that you knew in your spirit wasn't supposed to be for you. You know how many opportunities or how many guys that might have been for you, but because you're stuck with with Jack over here and you don't move forward, you don't leave because you're scared again of what's on the other side. And then that leads me to complacency for me. When I think about it, I think about it in marriages. That's what makes me think about. When I think of complacency, I think about my own personal situation. Yeah, I'm a widow for real, right? But in my marriage, I was so comfortable. In the beginning, you mad hype, right? You want to be cute all the time. You go to bed kind of flawless. You want to be sexy. Your hair's done. Hey, boo, your dinner's served. And then what happens? After a year or two, the honeymoon year is like a year or two, right? But
you become comfortable.
You become comfortable, girl. You're looking like nobody's child.
Exactly.
Like, get your wife, get your kids, and with the wife beat up with the hair looking crazy, right? And then in that situation is where you lose your spouse. They no longer really want to rock with you. And I think that's what leads to like infidelity, because
I agree.
You want to take a back seat to your spouse. Like, where's that fire? Somewhere in there, you have to always remember to keep that fire and not be complacent. Because
we don't want to give him, it's still up to us to have dialogue with each other. You know what I'm saying? And be able to talk and say, so that you don't say, tell your husband or your wife, listen, I need you to, do like how you were doing when we first got together, you gotta be, if this is the person who you married to, why you don't feel comfortable going to them, telling them that you're not liking something about what they're doing?
You know what? I'm going to say this, Michelle. For myself, I'm not comfortable with communication. Like, that's very hard for me.
Right.
It's something that I'm working through even at this moment. Like, expressing my feelings is very hard for me. Although I'm going to say this, my love language, which is another topic all in itself. My love language is words. Like, I love words, but it's so difficult for me to give that back, to communicate, to give those words. So it's just like you said, why, if we chose that person, why is it so hard for us to communicate and tell them? But like me, I can only speak for myself. That is a difficult thing for me to do. Like,
and sometimes you might have to think of bringing in a third party, like someone that, a counselor, somebody to talk to, to be that.
I agree. Someone who's objective.
Yeah.
Someone who doesn't know you, someone who doesn't know him, who can give you advice objectively, because they are not a part of your circle.
Yeah.
So, I can relate to what both of you are saying.
Yeah. But that's funny, because communication was also a major thing for me. So, and now in this next season that I'm in, right? Because I'm going to be married, you guys, right?
That's right.
So in this next season, I look back at everything that I did wrong, how I was complacent with my husband, right? How that spark ended, how I wasn't communicating certain things because I was comfortable, right? And it's sort of like your spouse sort of becomes like your roommate. You never want that.
Oh my
That's what
goodness.
that
You hit the nail on the head for me.
No.
Your spouse becomes your roommate. Absolutely.
And use in my next marriage, that's not going to happen. Like my mind, God has already transformed me so that I am the woman that I need to be. And he's still preparing me for my Boaz, because I am not going to be how I was with my husband.
And I know it sounds so cliche, but you really have to date your spouse. You have to make time. I mean, even if you have to make time, like it sounds like it's too like strategic, but you have to say, you know, this is the day that we're going to go out and we're going to be with each other and spend time together. You know what I'm saying? You have to do that, because if you don't do those things, it's like, what are we doing here?
And it becomes a creature of habit. Every
Right.
day you come in, hey, every day you go to sleep the same way, hey, no. You want your man to come in, right? And you want to be sexy sometimes. Does it have to be every day? Come on, we're working every day. We don't have time for that all day.
Right.
But once in a blue moon, right? He should be able to come in and be like, oh, there's my baby. Like something should click in his head that makes him feel like.
And never come in the house and don't address you. Like you come in the house, I haven't seen you for a whole 8 hours, and no hi, how you doing? No nothing.
That's that taking each other for granted. And that's why there needs to be a friendship, right? You need to be married to your best friend. A friendship is so important to be built on first. Then you can move on to that next level. But if it's just the lust that puts you together, then that communication.
That was my problem in relationship. So that's why I'm just allowing God to make every move for me. Like I don't want any control. I just want, because I know half of it was lust and a lot of things that I was doing, you know? So.
You know what? In this season of my life, I have to say that I'm trusting God more.
Yeah.
To be in control. My issue is releasing control. I think I could fix it all. I think that I can take care of it. I think that I can maneuver everything, and you know what? It's going to be perfect. And I have to say that I've witnessed the fact that I cannot control it all, that I do not have control of everything, whether it be my relationship with a significant other, whether it be the relationship with my children, whether it be the relationship with my friends. I don't have control over that. So, you know, I've come to the realization that God is the
and everybody has a perception of what's going on. What's so crazy to me when I came, like, because I was having a serious strain in my relationship with my daughter. And it's so funny how when you finally get to sit down and talk with a person when you're reasonable and sitting in your, you know, in your right mind, it's like, that was your perception of what happened? Or, you know, that's not what I meant at all. So that's why you have to communicate, because everybody's perception of something is totally different. And so if you don't talk about it, you don't know that they took it that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'm totally working on it, because I'm definitely going to say I'm not the best at communication. I'm really not in a relationship.
But that's a plus right there, that you can admit that, you know, say that out loud now. Yeah.
Like I said, that was my issue. But it's so funny that you mentioned self-control, because that's something that has been resonating. One of the many things that God has been bringing to my attention during this quarantine is my self-control, because I feel the same way, that I can fix everything around me because it's tangible. This is my kid. I could fix whatever is going on. This is my job. I could fix whatever is going on. Right. And then other things you can kind of like, okay, God, you got it. But no, you have to be able to release everything. That's what I've been doing. And when I tell you that God is moving and working, he is moving, honey, and working. He is removing me out of the equation, yanking me when I'm ready to try to take control.
Right. And sometimes for me, I don't know if you ladies have experienced this from me, but I've been told this by a couple of people, my daughter and a couple of, you know, that I'm very nonchalant. So in that nonchalant attitude, your loved ones around you can feel like you just like brushing them off. But you're not. Like, I totally love my daughter so much, and you know, the people around me, my loved ones and stuff, but it's not about me being nonchalant. That's just, you know, who I am as a person. But you have to take notice when people tell you things like that, that's how you're making them feel. So Yeah, you just want to
Let me tell you.
have to be able to receive what people see from you.
Exactly.
It's been hard. I've been told by certain people that I do certain things and do this and that and third. And sometimes it's hard to accept. It's hard to accept those things, that the truths that people are experiencing, for themselves. But I try to work on it every day. I mean, it's not that I negate it and say, okay, no, it's not true. I try to work on it. But it always goes back to me being a creature of habit.
Yeah.
Like, I'm so set in my ways that I think that sometimes at this age, like, can I change?
You can.
You can.
You can.
Yeah, you
change.
can.
Well, I'm not completely changed, but I already see a transformation in others.
I don't even want to say change. You can make adjustments that can fit for the situation. You know what I mean? It's not that you changing who you are as a person, but you can adjust some habits that affect the person a certain way.
You know what, Michelle? You just said you're not changing yourself, and I think that's my fear, that people are trying to change me,
right,
to fit who they want me to be. And I don't want to change myself. To be totally honest, I'm happy with who I am. I take people's feelings into account. I think I am a considerate person. I just feel sometimes people are pushing to just change who I am, and I don't want to change. I'm okay with who I am. I know there's certain things that I do need to change, and communication is at the top.
Okay, so then those things that you see, that you're saying that you see you need to change, or that's going to help in whatever the relationships is that you feel are strained or something, then that's where you need to work and try to make the adjustments there. But don't try to change who you are as a person. You know what I mean?
Just those little things, and also be very conscious of that, of communication. Like if the person who is bringing this to your attention, you have to be very aware that they're very sensitive to maybe how you communicate, right?
Oh my God.
You come around these people, you have to make a conscious decision to say, God, don't let Holy Spirit take over, change me so that this person could see me a different light, so that I could be pleasing, not to change you completely, but that attribute, that one characteristic, right? Because people love us, right? But there's certain attributes about each and every one of us that people may not like, that turn them off. So it doesn't mean that we need to change entirely who we are. So I'm never going to change who I am for people. I will tweak, I will tone down, I will adjust, like Michelle stated. Because if you want to be in a relationship, it's a give and take.
It's a partnership, so you have to make adjustments. I did this thing where I sent out to my friends, when I was like trying to do a self-evaluation of myself, I sent out like this questionnaire that Grizel never answered. But questionnaire for people. I sent out a questionnaire and asking people, questions about myself and things and what they saw in me, and just because I was trying to do some self-reflection and healing, and so I'm not saying that you should do that, but maybe something like along those lines can work for you to help you do some self-evaluation.
All right, I'll try it. I'll try it.
Yeah.
And you pray about it every day and write it down.
It's just I get so comfortable, and so then it makes me scared. Like I've okay, for instance.
So on the other side of that fear is your happiness.
Yes, girl. Yes.
I'm saying that for you. I'm like in my mouth, sitting here now, like, oh, who said that? Yes, on the other side of that.
Unfortunately, I've had 6 years to get to know who I am. I've had 6 years of reflecting time to really think about my level of complacency with my husband, the things he liked, the things he didn't like, how I was in the beginning, how I was in the end, the things he needed me to change. Some things I did before his death, some things I didn't. And those things bothered me afterwards. God, if I was only this, a better wife to him, if only this, if only that, And so I've had 6 years to self-reflect. Well, a couple of those were morning, and then like probably the last 4, I've done a lot of, last 4 or 5, I've done a lot of reflecting.
Yeah.
And I'm in a whole different place, and I know what I can bring to the table because I know that I've been transformed, right? But when you're in the situation, it's hard because you are in a comfortable place. I've been uncomfortable, you know, grieving, mourning. I've been in that uncomfortable place where I've been forced to look in the mirror. But if you're currently in it, it's a lot harder to self-evaluate because it's a day by day for you.
Yeah.
Individual trying to adjust who you are or whatever. But it's all about self-reflecting. You have to take that time to really think about maybe they're right or maybe they're not right.
I had to do that. I'm like, okay, you know, I'm not a person that jumps in and out of relationships, so that's not something that I do. But the fact that I'm not in a relationship now, and I was for a minute, and then the relationship that was before that didn't work out, I was like, okay, let me take a time out and see what am I doing wrong? What am I, what was my part in all of this? You know what I'm saying? So I'm grateful for the time to myself right now because I know that I'm going to be the bomb girlfriend first, then wife, you know, and all that comes.
That's exactly how I feel.
Or if I don't be that, I'm just going to be the bomb bitch.
I'm gonna take it back a minute to what Gigi said about friendship. That friendship first, and then the boyfriend and girlfriend,
yes,
and eventually the husband and wife. And I think that is the foundation to any relationship.
Yes.
I think you need to start off as friends, and because we jump, and I'm not saying we here, but we as women or even men, we jump into relationships so quickly, like we like somebody and then all of a sudden that's my boyfriend, or all of a sudden that's my girlfriend. You don't get to know them as a person on a personable level. You don't get to know them. And I think that ruins a lot for us because,
it does.
You know, we just go into it like, I like him. Oh, he's fine. He's this. I want to date him. And then it's the lust.
You got the
yes.
Yes. So I think when we don't start in that way, I think it ruins everything because we're building the relationship on lust and not on, you know what? I like who he is as a person.
And on the stuff that's going to sustain you when you get older, because the lust is going to be gone. All the sex is going. It's not going to be like the boobs are going to go down south. The wrinkles are going to come. You know what I mean? All the physicality is going to be gone. Yes. And what do you have somebody you can talk to? Yeah.
Yes, like that's what I mean. Do you have, where are the meat and potatoes of the relationship?
Right.
Like, do you like who he is as a person?
Right.
Is he a kind person? You know, what kind of conversations do you guys have? Like, can you just talk as friends opposed to, you know what, I think he's fine. Let me kiss him. Let's have sex. You know, like those superficial things. No. You know, so I think about those things a lot of times. Like, do we start relationships as friends first?
That's very important, but that's something that you have to kind of have to pray about. You know, that the person that comes your way, it starts off as a friendship.
And at this age, we have to make known what we want in the beginning. We don't have time for foolishness. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you trying to tell as soon as you meet somebody, oh, I want you to be my husband. No, you don't want to scare the person completely away. But you need to let them know up front what you want and what you expect out of a relationship. Because we don't have time to be wasting on.
We have more on this side than we have on that side.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It's very important, yes, that you make it known. And there's no time, like Michelle stated, just hopping around and dating. It's I got to know where your head is at, and that's through the communication.
What do you want out of a relationship? Do you want to live in the city? Do you want to stay in the house? Like, you don't know these things, and then you get with somebody and they don't even want half the stuff you want. Yes. And you're like,
and you've wasted already 2 years, you know?
Yeah.
Because you jump into it with eyes closed or maybe eyes open because you're looking at the physical part of everything, right? Or if they have money, oh, you got a BMW, you got a great job, and you're going, I'm gonna go date him. You know, we lose.
And those things are nice.
They are nice. not everything.
But they're
not
not
everything, for sure.
fundamentals of
Yeah.
what a relationship is. You need, trust me,
You need the meat and potatoes.
Yes, we do need the meat and potatoes. Absolutely.
Trust me.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's it's
yeah. I mean, this is life, right? Everybody want to be a grown up and rush into doing things, but this is what life is about: living and making compromises and experiencing things with different people and being able to adjust yourself. And
but also it's about making conscious decisions.
Yeah.
You know, like you can't be Gigi also, you know, she stated life is too short. Yeah. We cannot be fooling ourselves. We have to make conscious decisions. Like, this is where I want to be in the next 3 years. Like, this is what I want. This is the type of partner that I want by my side. You know, like, I'm a hustler. I am a hustler by nature. And I have to attribute that to my mom. You know, she was a single mom. She was a hustler. So, you know, I have that in me. Like, that's in my blood. Like, I cannot be idle at any point in time. I have to always be working. And you know what? I need a partner that's going to match that for me. Yes, he's going to match that for me. Like, I need someone who's going to work just as hard, who's about his business, because that's who I am. Yes. You know? So, I mean, I don't know. It's just craziness for me.
And you need a partner who's also not complacent, right?
Yes. Oh my God. Thank you for saying that. Yes. Oh my God. I applaud you for saying that. Yes. I need a partner who's not satisfied with just being there.
Yes.
I need someone who's like a go-getter, who's motivated, I need that. Thank you for saying that.
And even at our age, some people think that because we're women of certain age, right, that the men that's going to be in our lives or that are in our lives are also of a certain age, that your dreams stop, that you don't move anymore. Not at all.
I'm on a second side of my life is all I can already feel and sense and experience that it's already going to be better than
That's exactly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ready to shine right now. What?
Amen, girl.
That's how I feel. Everything that God has for me, it's already in motion. Already the things I need to change, the Boaz. And everything, it's already in motion, that I know that this second leg of my life will be nothing but blessings upon blessings upon blessings, because because I'm not complacent in my Christian walk no more. Because
you know what? I want to say something too about being complacent. Doesn't just have to be a bad thing either. Like, some people are satisfied with where they are and who they are. You know what I mean? And some people's roles in relationships are to support that other person, to be there, to, you know, to do that. They're not the person who's always, you know, like this. They're that backbone that's always making sure that, you know, and that's fine too. But you just have to make sure that you are with the person who you need to be with, that complements you in your lifestyle.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. Beautifully said.
Yeah, I was gonna say nicely said. Absolutely, I totally agree with you.
Yeah. I love you, girls.
Love you, girls, too.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think this was a good discussion. How about you?
It was. I think we touched every aspect of complacency. So I think this definitely was a great conversation. Like, I'm very pleased with what we all shared, and I can totally relate to everything.
Me too. So if we learn anything, it's about our not to be complacent. Go out there. Don't let fear stop you. If you feel that this is not for you, step out, communicate, see what's on that other side. If it's not for you, guess what? Jump right back to what you were doing, you know. But
you're right. Like, we're not like experts in the field of complacency. We just three girlfriends here sharing our experiences. But you know, I hope that what we said resonated with you somehow. People that are listening and tuning in, and that you can take something away from it that can be, useful to your walk and to your life.
So. And remember that all change is not always bad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is good, and it's for
it is necessary.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely necessary. I mean, we can't always stay where we are, and that's part of growing. Change is part of growing. And, when I have to make a change, I always say that to myself. Change is part of growing, so that I can, sometimes I have to psych myself out because I keep telling you I'm a creature of habit. So I do psych myself out with that line, change is about growing.
I like that a lot because we're always growing. As long as you have breath, you're growing. You're coming across new experiences, right? Challenges. And so you have to grow. You have to grow in order to change. Right? They kind of go together simultaneously. You can't do one without the other.
Absolutely.
Make sure that you guys leave your comments below. Let us know what you think about complacency. Share your stories about complacency with us. Make sure you like. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you follow to Puerto Ricans and a Black Girl. And I think that might be it.
Yeah. And we just want to always leave with some positive words. So I'm just going to read this poem to you guys that was sent to us by a dear, dear young man that we all love. His name is Jared Kemp. And he wrote this poem, and it's called Chains of Memory. Chains of Memory. These chains have binded, deserted, and lost. Our great-grandfathers and grandmothers sold for a cost. For these chains have caused hurt that cannot be undone. Slaves that were killed by a whip or a gun. Treated like dogs, beaten and buried. The burden of racism in this world is still heavy. Masters and mistresses enjoying prosperous life, while slaves lived of suffering, horror, and strife. Tied up and hung on a branch of a tree, these chains of the past still present with me. And that was by Jared Kemp. So join us next Thursday, the 18th, for our next episode. What's the next episode about, ladies?
Self-love.
Self-love. So join us next Thursday at 7 p.m. Subscribe and like. We'll see you then.
Bye.
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 Black girl.
Puerto Ricans in a
Black girl.